Bonjour mes amis, bienvenue à Avignon en France. Welcome to Avignon in France. Today is day 8 in Avignon. I'm having a blast. Little problem this morning. I found out that the city closes on Mondays. I didn't realize that because I came in pretty late last Monday. And so of course at that point, why wouldn't everything be closed? But the market, it was supposed to be a market day and, resupply and that. So instead I went wandering, and my favorite thing. And when I didn't start off thinking this, but as soon as I got started, I realized I was walking around the city walls, and how novel it is to be in a city, a walled city, an ancient walled city. So why not see if I could walk all the way around the circumference of the city? And I made it. I had to do it in 2 shifts because, I had to stop and come back and go to work. And so I started up again, and I'm on my last leg right now. So why don't you join me for the last bit? So these walls are apparently built in like the 1200s, so the 13th century, or at least most of it. Of course, they would have been rebuilt and maintained and managed and stuff. So like maybe these particular bricks aren't, 900 years old, but they're still pretty old. And the wall itself is old. It's one of the few cities that still has all of the walls up, or pretty much all of the walls up, because most of the cities, especially the ones that I've been in, there's a little section here and there. You got to go find them. They're well preserved in sections, but not the whole thing. And what's so fascinating about the ones in Avignon is, again, that blend of old and new, right? So they've built these walls, and the city has evolved inside them and outside them, all over those hundreds of years, right? So if you can imagine, like, originally there'd be nothing, there'd be some fields here and there, of course the big palace up there, and then eventually the fields would turn into roads, and more and more buildings would pop up, and eventually they'd have to move the farming stuff outside of the city as more buildings pop up, and then they have to build little roads, and then those dirt roads turn into paved roads, stoned roads, cobblestones, asphalt, and of course at some point, they had to deal with cars, and what are we going to do about that? And then everybody's got a car, and then then these cars are all over the place, and then of course they say, hey, maybe there's no cars in the center of the city, just on the edges. It goes through an evolution. But what's really interesting, like these cars that I'm passing, right? Like they have GPS and satellite radio right beside this old wall, right? And the cool thing is, well, the not so cool thing actually is that you can't walk on the walls anymore, the ramparts themselves, right? And they seem to have the 2 levels, right? This one right here, and then the one that you could actually walk, or you used to be able to walk through, and then into the guard towers and everything. And you could see in a lot of places that you used to be able to do that, because if you look inside, you'll see like metal, like modern metal guardrails and things like that. So I mean, at some point, you could still go up there, but they've decided against it. And in fact, here's the sign right here. It says you're no longer, oops, why can't I get this right? But you're no longer able to walk on the ramparts due to fear of crumbling, falling rocks, which is a shame. So I don't know whether I'm here like 10 years too late, or 30, 40 years, but would be cool to walk up there. Wouldn't be cool to fall down. So I'm not going to try it, but There is one little section over there. It's not really part of the walls. It still has like a little staircase. I did walk around it just for, the novelty, to say I've walked on the walls. But I would imagine if I was a kid, I'd figure out a way to get up there. Like a local kid, which I'm not. Neither local or a kid, so I'm not going to do it. Promise. Promise. But it's so cool. Like as you walk through, or as I walked through the city, along the walls, it took me to some odd places that you probably wouldn't have gone to, or I wouldn't have gone to otherwise, right? Like the corners, the edges of the city. And I could walk all the way around just on like inside the walls for most of it. There's only about like 4 places, like a couple of little private buildings that block it off, and then of course when you get to the Papal Palace, that's all like embedded into the walls and stuff, so you can't really get in there, especially not without a ticket. But other than that, with a few exceptions of me walking on the outside, I walked inside the walls, which is a really interesting perspective because it's not, like I said, it isn't really generally where everyone goes. And you get to see some really interesting buildings. And I kept noting, oh, I got to come back here. I got to come back here. There's one spot, for example, it's like a little triangle building, but it's super, super flat. And they've obviously like built this tiny little home inside of it. And I really want to go check that out again because it's obviously done on purpose to save that space. So those types of little things that I'd really like to explore that I wouldn't have even known existed had I not wandered around, And it is cool itself, like these watchtowers that go by, like they're kind of cool looking. Each one's a little different because it has a different stage of decay. Some the walls are complete, some they're not. Some you can see the little arches, the support arches, and some are built around. You can't. Some you can see the little stairs going up. That like is a bit of a tease because you're like, hey, I'd like to walk up there. But I'm not going to do it. But what a cool experience to say, if nothing else, hey, I walked around this whole city, right? The whole city walls. I was like a medieval guard, patrolling the outer rim of the city. It's kind of cool with my camera. And here I am. This is where I started. This is where the whole journey began. Early this morning, came down that road up to these gates. And I went through there and took a look around and then just started heading down there, just to see what there is to see. Turns out quite a bit, And like I said, the old and the new, like just like modern cars running through this old gate. This would have controlled the traffic coming in and out of the city. But of course, the traffic at the time would have been like, villagers walking with their stuff, their carts, maybe a horse-drawn cart if you're lucky, But how cool is that? Doesn't get any better than this. So with that, I hope I've given myself enough time to show the rest of the video clips that I captured this morning, because there was a lot. It's a whole city wall's worth of video clips, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Hopefully you could see that gate a little better from here. But yeah, what a cool town. What a good looking, cool vibe of a town. You know, even if nothing's open, Mondays. That's okay. I still have a couple of baguettes and some food, so we'll figure it out. Oh, but tomorrow I've got some exciting stuff to do. Because not only have I not really seen much of this town, really, so I have 3 more weeks of exploring to look forward to, and I'm really looking forward to it. But tomorrow in particular, I am taking a cooking class. That's right, I'm taking a French cooking class in France with a French chef. I talk about like saying, you know, something prestigious you could say that you've done, you know. I'm really looking forward to it. I have no idea what we're going to cook. I don't even know. It doesn't really matter because I mean the French cuisine, you know, it does have some, you know, characteristics and some staples and some tendencies here and there, but really it's about, you know, execution of the cooking and styles on how to cook rather than like the ingredients themselves, right? So hopefully it's something unique and interesting. More importantly, I hope it's something helpful to teach me some skills on how to feed myself. But I'm also hoping that it's a bit of a market tour as well, so that I can find the right foods to buy. And I'm really looking forward to it. So that's tomorrow. I'll tell you guys all about it tomorrow night. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying warm. I hear the blizzards are coming. Well, they're probably already come and gone by the time you see this, because I still have those internet issues, so it's going to be a while before this gets uploaded. Can you do? I'm working on it. But please take care of yourself. Please, you know, start to think about your own adventures, because you have to go do cool things like walk around ancient city walls. You know, that's pretty cool. If there's any way I could help, please let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'd love it if you subscribed. I got some new subscribers. Thank you so much for that. That's really so helpful. I really, really appreciate it. Your likes and, of course, your comments. I love waking up in the morning and reading them all. And just knowing that you guys are watching these makes me feel like I'm doing this for a good reason, you know, and as long as you guys are entertained. But if there's anything you'd like to see, please let me know. Just comment anything. It's all good. So with that, I will say à demain, bonne nuit, and I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow. Good night.